So with this unit circle, what we're going to do is we're just going to go around and we're going to mark all of the coordinates. And the coordinates are going to give us that ability to look at the obviously the cosine and sine, because that's the x and the y coordinate, but then you could also do the tangent by taking the y coordinate divided by the x coordinate, and then obviously any inverses just by flipping those over. So let's start at 0 degrees. In the coming days we'll talk about radian measures as well, and the connection to that. But first of all, at 0 degrees, remember that the coordinate here is going to be 1, 0, which means the cosine is 1 and the sine is 0. And then the ones we talked about before, obviously this is going to be the square root of 3 over 2 and 1/2. Now, if you're just again thinking about what the square root of 3 over 2 is, it's actually like 0.866, so that's going to tell us that it's quite a bit farther horizontal than it is vertical, because 0.5 obviously is a smaller value. 45 degrees is the same one, square root of 3 over, or square root of 2 over 2 and square root of 2 over 2. The 60-degree angle would create an x coordinate of 1/2 and a y coordinate of the square root of 3 over 2. And then towards the top here, 90 degrees, that's actually 1, 0, 1. Now when we go to 120 degrees, that actually forms a 60-degree reference angle with the x-axis. So it turns out that this is going to be the same as 60 in coordinates, but on this side the x-coordinate is negative because it's to the left of the y-axis. So this becomes 1/2 in the square root of 3 over 2, and it's negative 1/2 because it's on the left side. 135 is going to be similar to the reference triangle of a 45-45. So these two match up. Notice that if you look at symmetry, if you were to flip this over, it has symmetry with 45 degrees. And then obviously the 150 is going to be a reference angle of 30 degrees. So therefore we have a square root of 3 over 2 negative, because it's to the left, and 1/2. Now if we look at 180, this is going to be negative 1 and 0. Obviously that's on the x-axis. And then as we start to go down, notice that again, think of the reference angle. So now both of these coordinates are negative, and this is 210 is really a 30-degree reference angle. So this is going to be the same as a 30-degree rotation, except that in this quadrant both are negative. Okay. 225 is your reference angle for 45 degrees. So this is going to be the negative square root of 2 over 2 and negative square root of 2 over 2. 240 is going to be the same as a 60-degree reference angle. So we're going to have the coordinates negative 1/2 and negative square root of 3 over 2. And then you're going to see that we have the 270 is going to be 0, negative 1. And as we wrap around to the fourth quadrant, remember only the y values are negative here, and 300 degrees is actually the same. You can see it has symmetry to 240. So this is going to be positive 1/2 because it's to the left or to the right of the y-axis, and it's going to be a negative square root of 3 over 2 for the y value. The 315 is going to be a 45 degree reference angle. So we have positive square root of 2 over 2, and then it goes down negative square root of 2 over 2. And then 330 is a 30-degree reference angle, and so again this is going to be positive square root of 3 over 2, just like the 30-degree angle above it, and it's going to have a negative 1/2. So all of these values then can help us find any of the reference angles. So if we go back to a couple of the problems on the previous page, and you want to take a look at each one of those, you can see what those angles are. So for instance, when we look at the sine of 150, if you go on the unit circle we just completed, the sine of 150 is going to be the y coordinate, and so the sine of 150 is going to be 1/2, because that's the coordinate, the y coordinate of 150. Now, if you want to look at the tangent of something like 300, remember that's going to be the y coordinate over the x coordinate. Okay, and if we take the square root of 3 over 2 negative over 1/2, remember that that is really just going to be the negative square root of 3 because of the value there. Okay, and then if we look at the cosine of 225, remember the cosine is the same as the x coordinate, and so in this case, if you look at your chart over on the next page, that's going to be negative square root of 2 over 2. Now, if you look at the cotangent, remember the cotangent is really just the inverse of the tangent. So the cotangent is really just going to be, instead of y over x, it's going to be x over y. And if you look at 315 degrees, notice that these two are actually the same, although one is negative. So we're going to take this, and our x coordinate is going to be the square root of 2 over 2. The y coordinate is negative square root of 2 over 2, which gives us the value negative 1. Now the tangent of 240, remember that's just going to be y over x, and so 240, that's going to be negative square root of 3 over 2 divided by negative 1/2, and again this is going to give us a positive value because it's two negatives divided, and this is going to be positive square root of 3. Now remember, the secant is really just going to be the inverse of the cosine, and so this is really just going to be 1 over the x coordinate. So the secant is really just 1 over the x coordinate, and so if you look at the cosine of 300 degrees, the cosine is 1/2. So if you take and you flip over 1/2, right, that's just going to be 2 over 1, which is really just 2. So, and it's positive. So that gives you a way, if you have the unit circle, it's a really easy way to find all of your other values. Okay,